Hi everyone, it's Dr. Morris from Magnolia Medical Center. Today I'm going to show you how to stretch a particular muscle. And I want to talk to you about this muscle for a minute. It is, you can find a lot of information about it online. It is one of your strongest core muscles. And it is a muscle that when it's not working right, boy, it can wreak havoc on your low back. So I want to show you how to stretch a muscle. Now, for the past 3 weeks, I have been going pretty well nonstop, not physically, but work-wise. I work all day, have to sit at the computer and do a lot of work. And then I went to 2 separate conferences where I was on a plane, on an Uber ride, and then sitting in a conference for 3 straight days, 10, 11 hours a day. And then I worked all week again, and then I had another continuing education where I was sitting all day. I had to drive to that one, so I was sitting in the car all day. So essentially for 3 weeks straight, I sat on my rear end, and what happened was this muscle got really tight and my low back started to hurt. So I want to go over this with you because many of you have sedentary jobs where you're sitting all day and you wonder why. How can I be sedentary and my back hurts? So I'm going to show you this muscle. I'm going to show you a model of it here. All right, so this is a model of the spine. Now this is just a plastic guy here. And this muscle right here is called the psoas muscle, spelled P-S-O-A-S. Now, if you can see that this muscle attaches to 4 of your lumbar vertebrae. Now, this model is not particularly anatomically correct. It actually attaches to T12 as well. And this muscle attaches to the discs of your lumbar spine. So it attaches to all the vertebrae in your lumbar spine, comes down through your pelvis, and attaches to your hip. So if you're sitting, what happens is this muscle, your leg comes up, so this is a major hip, it is the major hip flexor. So what this muscle will do is it will become shortened because your hip is flexed upwards, so this muscle becomes shortened by sitting all the time. And then when you go to stand up, or if you're standing for long periods of time, maybe you're at Disney World or something, standing for a long period of time, this muscle has now, because you sit all day, become shortened. So what happens then is it pulls your lumbar spine forward and down, really jamming up these joints in the back, as well as putting pressure and stress on the discs and the vertebra in many ways. So if you have a sedentary job, what you need to do is you need to work at stretching this muscle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break here in a second, and I'm going to do another video. And I'm going to show you 3 separate ways to stretch this muscle. 2 of them you can do on your own, and 1 of them you can get somebody to help you with. But if you have a sedentary job, you need to be stretching this muscle all the time, because otherwise you're going to get this muscle shortened because your hip is flexed all the time. It's going to have a significant impact on the strength and integrity of your core, and it's going to give you lots and lots and lots of back problems. So this is a major muscle, the major muscle you need to pay attention to and stretch often if you have a sedentary job. Whether you have back pain or not, this is a muscle you need to work on. So I'm going to show you some different stretches you can do that can help with that. I'm going to show you how to stretch the psoas muscle. We're going to go over 3 ways to do this. We'll have to move the camera around a little bit here. But one of them, let's say this is a chair at your work. And we have these big tables here, but if this is a chair at your work, you can use this, you can do this type of stretch on your chair. So what you're going to do is, let's say I'm trying to stretch my right psoas. So I'm just going to bring my knee up on the chair. And since that muscle attaches to my lumbar spine, comes through my pelvis and attaches to the inside of my leg, what I want to do is I want to force my pelvis forward to stretch that muscle out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of put my hands on my hip, and we're going to move forward, basically trying to push my knee back a little bit and push my pelvis forward. So now I can feel that stretch right through my hip right here. So that is stretching that psoas muscle, and you're going to hold that for 30 seconds. You don't want to twist this way because then you're not going to get a stretch. You can twist the other way a little bit to enhance that stretch. Twist away from that side. So I'm feeling that stretch now. You're going to hold it for about 30 seconds and do that 3 times. It can give you a lot of relief. Now, anytime we're stretching the psoas muscle, there's something you need to know. If you have something called a spondylolisthesis, which is when one vertebra is slipping forward on top of another vertebra, and if you have it, you know you have it. Otherwise, if you have back problems, you should get x-rays and get an evaluation done to see what it's coming from. But if you have a spondylolisthesis, This way of stretching your psoas muscle is not going to help your low back at all. So I would advise not to do that. Now, another way of stretching the psoas muscle is if, let's say, you don't have access to a chair at that moment. Maybe you're standing at as I said earlier, maybe you're standing at Disney World or you're waiting in line to get movie tickets or something like that, and you don't have something to put your knee up on. You can do it where you put, now I'm going to stretch my right one again, right? So we're focusing again on the right side. You're going to bring one leg back. So this is my right side. And using my right hand, I'm going to reach up and back. So I've got this leg back, this leg's forward, we're stretching the right side. So I'm going to reach up and back and pushing my pelvis forward. So I'm trying to move my pelvis forward this way as I'm reaching up and back. That's going to isolate and stretch that psoas muscle. And then you can switch and do it from the other side. Again, you're going to reach on the same side you're trying to stretch. So this is my left side. I'm going to use my left hand and reach it up and back. I'm reaching up and back to my right, stretching my left. All right. So now that's a way of stretching the psoas muscle if you don't have a chair or a bench or something to put your leg up on. All right, so now we're going to break for a second. We're going to set up to show you a stretch where if somebody else is able to help you on a bed or on a table or something like that. It's a great way, probably the most effective way to stretch that psoas muscle. But again, you need some help to do this, so it might not be the most, the easiest to do, but it is the most effective. Okay, so now we're going to show you the last way to stretch the psoas muscle. And I've got my assistant Daryl here to show you how to do this. Okay, so we're going to show you how to stretch the psoas muscle. I've got my assistant Daryl here. And on this video, we're going to stretch my left psoas this time, just because that's going to be more beneficial for the camera. What I'm doing is sitting with my tailbone on the edge of the table. I'm not sitting too high up. I'm also not sliding off of it, but just on the edge. I'm going to bring my right leg up to my chest. All right, so I'm going to pin my leg up like this. And then we're going to stretch my left psoas muscle. So I'm going to roll back, and he's going to pin that leg up and push down on this leg. I'm going to relax this side. And it's going to stretch out that left psoas. I can feel it stretching all through here, even down to the inside of my leg. So he's going to hold that for 30 seconds, and I'm going to try and relax as much as I can. We're going to do that 3 times. So this is a way you can stretch the psoas muscles if you have a little bit of hump.